Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in this afternoon. I'm glad that all of you could be with us today. Much appreciated. Today, Jan from New York City Saves Money is
Hey,
alongside.
Steve.
Hey, Jan. And we're going to talk about 5 emergency things that you should have in a stockpile. Mind you, this stockpile is non food related. So I know when people think stockpile, the first thing, oh, canned goods. No, not so much in this case. So, Jan, you have a few tips that
I
you would
do. I
give.
do. First of all, Steve, thank you so much for having me. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. We love the sound of that Saturday. Hope you're having a nice weekend so far. Steve and I, many times, we talk about our stockpiles, right? But we kind of sort of emphasize on the food side of a stockpile. But there are more things to consider in an emergency other than food. Not saying not playing down the food, that's very important, but there are other things that will help us get through situations of emergency. So I'm going to list a few. I'm going to list five, and then Steve is going to list five himself. Now, if this sounds so basic, you're probably going to say, but Janet, this stuff sounds so basic. It is basic, and everything I'm mentioning is not going to break the bank, which is good. But put it this way, if you didn't have this basic or basic items, all of a sudden you start noticing it. These are ordinary, everyday things that we use, and at times we take them for granted. Therefore, it is so worth us going over this list. All right. So, the first one that I'm going to mention that is not a food item, but you should put in your stockpile and hold for emergencies are toothbrushes, floss, and toothpaste. These are everyday, common, ordinary items, and we take it for granted. And 99% of us always have them. But if you didn't have them, what would be life like without feeling clean and brushing your teeth and all this and all that? But in times of an emergency and you're scrambling around, it is really good to take stock of these low cost but very important inventory items. Also, add to your stockpile over the counter pain reliever. Yes, sometimes you get hurt, might get a minor thing, and you need to have that. Nobody wants to be in pain. Bad enough the emergency situation. Keep some over the counter pain reliever, the one that you or your family literally always uses. Not take a chance with something you normally don't use. That's not the time to risk getting an allergic reaction. Use the stuff that you always use and make sure that you have enough of it. Uh, Next, antibiotic ointment. Like those antibiotic creams, they come in a little tube or an ointment. This is very important to have. Antibiotic ointment will help reduce the risk of infection if you get a cut. And there are other things that help as well. And I'm sure Steve is going to mention something to that effect later on. But to keep the actual ointment, those little tubes, get that in advance and keep them. We don't know what can happen in life. We just don't know. Isn't it better to err on the side of caution? I think so. Next, hand sanitizer. Well, we all remember a few years back how much we started to fall in love with hand sanitizer. But to be honest with you, I always enjoyed hand sanitizer since they put it out years ago. So I think it is essential to keep some hand sanitizer. Definitely put them into your stockpile of your non-edibles. Next, paper towels. This is really, really important. Paper towels is essential. You never know for the reason or whatever the reason, it is good to have. Just like when you go in your car, for example, you never know if you put a pet in your car and it makes a mess or whatever, or children get sick. You see where I'm going with that. So just taking on that idea is really, really important. I'm just going to mention one that I thought very important. I'm just going to mention it briefly. Women's, or for young ladies and women, feminine hygiene products. I don't have to get into it. Women know what I'm referring to. These are common use products. But if women don't have them and they need them, there you go. So, Steve, I'm going to hand it over to you because I know you have some amazing emergency tip items as well.
Yes, I do. Um, in fact, let me go ahead and pull them up. Okay, to elaborate on what you just mentioned about, pull this back. To elaborate on what you just mentioned on the antibiotic ointment cream, you definitely want to keep band-aids around. I just recently bought some that were flexible, that stretch, that are real good. But I did notice when I was at the store that they have now added neosporin to band-aids, a little couple of drops, to help heal, if you get cut or hurt. So that is um, a good thing to have on hand at all times. Band-aids is a definite must because you just don't know from one minute to the next. My second one here, baby wipes are good in case you're not able to, you know, take a shower or clean up or whatnot. A baby wipe in a pinch will definitely come in very handy. I like that. That's a good thing to have on hand. Another one that's good, um, are the Lysol disinfectant wipes. Come in a similar container, tall. Uh, Good friend of mine, he literally swears by it. He has them at all time. He usually keeps a couple of containers around. Um, and not only is it good for your hands, you can also use it for your countertops, things like that. Because definitely now, because everything is so touchy feely sensitive because of things that what we've been dealing with the last couple of years, 3 years, or however you want to, what I'm talking about, without me.
Yes.
So that comes in as a big help. The next one, I know all of us are on budgets, but I do make one recommendation. If you're going to get batteries, make sure you have batteries of all sizes on hand. But make sure, if you can afford it, make sure that you could get Duracell or Energizer. If you cannot and budget comes in, I definitely possibly recommend getting Rayovac. Rayovac is another good battery. One battery I'm telling everybody to avoid. I've had bad luck with it. I don't like it, and it is get what you pay for. Do not buy dollar store batteries. Whatever you do, don't go to the dollar store. Avoid those batteries like the plague. And I am not just saying that.
No, you're so right.
Right. So make sure that you have batteries of all sizes on hand because you just don't know what occurrence may bring. The next one, Bic lighters. That's a good one to have if you want to light a candle or find a way to keep warm. Or if you have, I know I mentioned non-food related, but it's, let's say you have a camping stove. You need um, a lighter to do that. If you don't have a Bic lighter, some of you may or may not be familiar, a Zippo lighter. They're metal and it opens up and you can, it works on butane and then you flip the lid back. Yes, I'm a military brat and I know a lot of your military had that, you know, as a part of you know, their content. So that's why I know about a Zippo lighter. So if you can't get a Bic, or if you have a Zippo, that would work just as well. All you need is something that will create a flame to help you out. If you don't have that, here's another one. It's used, you can get them usually in the, I think, sporting goods, you might have it. It's usually kept somewhere around where you have a barbecue grill. They're long and it's got a little click handle and a little
Oh, yeah.
light comes on the end, and you can control how strong it is. It's a type of lighter, but it's like a wand, and you click it. It's got a little trigger, and it lights up at the very
I
end.
saw that on one, not to interrupt you, Steve. I saw one of those on a shopping channel. I never heard of it until I saw it on one of those TV shopping channels about 6 months ago. It looked like an awesome gift for someone.
Right, that's a good one to have on hand as well. So you have three options: the Bic, the the Zippo, and then the one I just mentioned. I don't know the exact name, but it's got a plastic handle, a metal wand, or the part that sticks out is metal,
Right.
and you click on the little thing, and it creates a flame. So that's a good one to have. The next one, uh, make sure you've got plenty of toilet paper on hand. Um, Toilet paper,
Yeah.
yes, it has several uses. It's not just, for what we normally use it for, but if you ever need it to, it also works as a alternative for tissues. So if you, let's say you need to blow your nose, toilet paper will work. Let's say you need to wipe up a spill, toilet paper will work.
Yeah.
So there are a few alternatives that you can use toilet paper for than what we know it as. Not that I'm trying to get too specific, but it does have a few alternatives. You have a few options with it. I know a lot of the time I would just rather buy an extra amount of toilet paper. I usually try to keep about 16 rolls or better on hand at all times, like you say, if in the event, because I'm in Florida, so I try to keep stocked up all year round as much as I can.
Right.
When you go through one hurricane, it's a lesson learned, or even a tornado, or any type of bad weather, or a power surge. A power surge can happen anywhere. That's just not in one state. That can be anywhere around the globe. But that's my 5 tips. Um,
And you know something, Steve, alluding back to paper, I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, paper. But you and I mentioned in the quote green room before we went on, and Steve made a great point about mentioning paper plates. Paper plates, in addition to, you did it, that was a great reminder. We take these little things for granted. They're not much money. See, here's the thing, Steve, everything you and I listed is very affordable. And to add to stuff, even if you get 2 of the items per week, if you altogether, we added, what did we say, about 10 or 11 items on here, about 10 or 11 items.
yeah,
Guess what? Take 2 per shopping haul, or 3. They're not expensive. Put it away. Maybe get them in a dollar store. Great. But like Steve, I agree adamantly. Don't get dollar store batteries. Oh, I'm sorry.
not the dollar store batteries. I'm not saying nothing from the dollar store is not valid.
Right.
Now, I will say, well, not just toilet paper. I would say make sure you have all paper goods on hand. All.
Right.
Um, Paper towels. I try because people think, oh, bathroom tissue, paper towel. Oh, it's all the same. No, it's not. You got to look at on the packaging. Look down at the bottom.
Right.
It tells you the square footage.
Right.
Not all of it is the same square footage. So
No, it's not.
I try to go for the 1,000 sheet toilet paper.
Yes.
If that's in a 1-ply. Now, if I go 2-ply, I try to go 500 if I can find it or close to it.
Right.
Um, and I know at the dollar store you can get a roll of 1,000. No, I take that back. 100 square feet sheet, toilet of paper towel. But if you can, that is something that I normally do like to buy in a little bit of a big content. I try to keep 16 rolls of toilet paper, and I try to keep at least 8 rolls of paper towels because you just don't know.
Right.
So, anyway, that's my contribution for a few, non-food emergency tips, and then the ones that you mentioned were very good. Now, because I had to step away, I went to and got something to drink. Did you happen to mention hand sanitizer?
Yes.
You did. Okay.
Yes, hand sanitizer is, we've grown accustomed to using it. Some of us maybe stocked up a lot. Some people never did use it. I think it's a good plus in an emergency
It is.
where we may not have access to plumbing, to water. We just don't know. Steve, may I add just one more item? It wasn't on
Yeah.
the list, but
Mhm.
it hit me. it's important to keep cash on hand. I'm not talking about a
Oh,
hundred
yeah.
million dollars cash. I'm talking about enough cash. When those machines go down and you can't use your plastic card, need cash. So yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why at all times I will keep
right.
some denomination of money in my wallet because you just don't know.
Right. You're so right. You're so right.
Well,
And I would recommend, and this is one time where I am throwing in a recommendation, keep small bills like tens, fives, and singles. Because that way you're not spending, like if you only have a $50 bill and you want to buy a loaf of bread, oh, I don't have change. And you're so hungry and desperate, buy $50. No. Keep smaller bills when you can. That's why, Steve, that dollar a day comes in handy.
yeah, it does. It does. So, yeah, definitely go back to the old way. Have cash on hand. I know everything is becoming or has been becoming credit and debit. Everything's going moving into a plastic non, but there's a little bit of I don't know if that's really the best way to go because I'm still old school because cash is king. So, all right. Well, this was a good show. I'm glad that you were able to come along,
Thanks for having me.
absolutely. So, all right, everybody, you know, I'm going to be making a few changes on my upload days. So, and I'm still trying to feel that out.
Sure.
So, definitely be on the lookout for my content. But I am going to be making a few changes um, in the near future. So be on the lookout for that. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.